He wanted to overrun us and poison us and take our families and kill us. You will die, not us.
Welcome to tonight's Plumes of Hazard. I am MassBlast09, and these are our co-hosts. Fubaka, who was just muted. I had to look down for a second. Wait for it. Is he gonna?
I know I was muted. I know MassBlast09.
The actual way personified.
Sludgeable, everyone. And tonight marks the 231st episode of the Plumes of Hazard that we do not have a Diet Coke sponsorship. What the fuck?
Holy shit, I tell you.
I ain't got no Cape Cod sponsorship. I ain't got no chip sponsorship.
Wow, that's like
no Adidas sponsorship.
600,000 years of vaping experience, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Call at me.
I mean, I'm always stocked. Their logo's been in like every show.
Yeah.
They're only going to sell like maybe 70 more 12 packs for the so
it's any exposure is good exposure.
Chips maybe only because you can consume chips much quicker than Diet Coke.
Yeah. I don't know.
I've eaten a whole fucking bag of chips in one sitting. Don't
yeah,
lie.
But Angsty can drink a whole 6-pack in one sitting.
Angsty is a one of a kind being.
Yeah,
in so many ways.
he just pisses out Pepsi Clear or Clear Pepsi.
God,
he turns Diet Coke into Pepsi. Whoa,
yeah.
Angsty, you're about to be rich. You're about to get those real big time dollars.
He turns it into Pepsi Clear. So,
oh, can you imagine the burning?
Golden Pepsi,
carbonated urine.
Yeah, that would not.
Essentially, he's peeing champagne.
No, he's peeing Ultim.
There you go. There you go. Oh boy, it's been a bit of a day, a little bit of a mad rush around work. The weekend was short as always, but like for whatever reason, today it's just been boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Stuff to do.
I made a not wise move yesterday.
Stop.
I drove home. Well, TLDR, my brother got married this weekend, and I was hungover Sunday.
Right.
Not like awfully, but just enough that after I drive for like almost 4 hours, I'm gonna want to take a nap. I did not go to sleep early. I had to be at work early as fuck this morning, and I've just been dragging ass since I got home. So yeah, you need that sleep when you're hungover.
It looks like somebody, some people saw either the intro, I guess, or the show name. I do have something to say about this. And this is something I've said before. I think, in my opinion, I think Alex Jones is a bit of a nutcase, right? I think that's pretty obvious. But it's very concerning to me when you see people completely deplatform. And you see people muted like that, and that's fine. I mean, I know he's a nutcase. You will not find me defending Alex Jones, but today's anti the norm opinions or whatever, it's fine if you agree with it right now, but tomorrow that might be your opinion that suddenly has become not okay.
Wait, so the frogs are gay?
The frogs, maybe they are. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with gay frogs.
Sure. I mean, I had to see a lot of baby frogs this weekend.
Baby frogs?
Baby frogs. Yeah, the wedding was upstate.
Tadpoles?
Upstate New York.
Yeah.
Some people in chat will agree, and probably some parts of PA too, which is just full of stagnant water. Lots of frogs, lots of flies. I had like the house we were staying in, there were just like easily 2 or 3 dozen dead flies in the windowsill. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking fun.
That's why there's so many frogs. There's so much to eat.
Yeah, they ain't hungry, man. You don't see no frogs starving to death up there. They're eating good.
I would imagine. Are there frogs?
Too many goddamn stagnating the water up there.
The weird thing about the gay frogs is it's not like frogs have like an intimate sex life, right? There's no like sexy time. They're just, normally it's just a male and a female sort of hanging out.
Well, you know the story behind it, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's fucking hilarious.
I'm just saying, I mean, it's fine if they just enjoy each other's company, but it's not like they're having like relations.
I wonder what kind of benefits they get.
I mean, if they are, whatever. I mean, they're important to the ecosystem. We can't exactly hate on them.
Sure.
True that.
We wouldn't have had Budweiser ads.
That is true. Rob Wiggle says, "Yeah, birth control being flushed is causing fish to become asexual." That I've heard that about bass. I've heard that about bass, and they have linked that to birth control. And one thing that I saw a while back, the guy that I was watching, who actually liked the guy, but he was confused why people were flushing birth control down the toilet. Isn't that not really what it's supposed to be good for? That's true, but the problem is, I think, is it goes through, right? It passes through the ladies and then out into the water system, and that's the problem.
You would think that at the water treatment plant, a lot of that stuff would be treated out, but
no, it's too small. It's in solution, right? So the water treatment plants they get the bacterias and that kind of thing, but stuff that's dissolved in there apparently is much more difficult to get out, even if you're doing reverse osmosis, which I think is really power inefficient to do the reverse osmosis thing. The other thing is and there's places in the States, and I think LA is one. I think where's the other hotspot? I'm trying to remember where it is. It may be New York, but it may not be. I'm trying to remember where it is. But there's a high concentration of mood-altering drugs prescribed in this area, and so things like Zoloft and like mood boosters and stuff. People with depression.
Yeah,
and that's also causing a problem downstream, so to speak, in the water table.
Yeah, I think I saw a post talking about that, and they had they were saying like, okay, so you got a reverse osmosis system at your house. Yeah, it's going to clean all this stuff out. It does waste a lot of water. It does waste energy. So they had real simple. Apparently, a lot of the backpackers and a lot of people who go camping use these, and it removes almost everything out of the water, but it's slow. It's a drip system, and it's like, I think they're solid carbon something or other. But they were saying like for the home, when you need instant water, it was like a 15-step filter system. It was crazy, but that one does remove all the weird funky stuff that's in the water there too. So, or you can be like primitive technology and build that sand filter. You see that one? That was amazing.
It is amazing. Or I think the other thing it's not 100%, but I think it's awfully close is distilling it, right? But that's crazy inefficient because you have to boil it, right? I mean,
right, yeah, and even distilling the water, apparently there can still be stuff that
volatilizes and goes up.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That gets into the water, so it doesn't get. I forget. I saw a write up that had all the different methods of cleaning water when you need to, and I think it went in that level. Like I always thought that reverse osmosis was the highest best way of doing it, and then distilled, but it is wrong.
Yeah, there is other ways, but reverse osmosis really does work like really well. It's just, just not
if you can't taste it, then especially if you live somewhere with shitty water,
right? And distilling doesn't really, it's not like 100% solution either because of the the water tastes like shit afterwards. You have to remineralize the water.
Yep.
Or it tastes flat and kind of gross, right?
Yep. And I don't know, don't quote me on this, but I don't think that they really suggest you drink distilled water all the time.
No, you should not be drinking distilled water.
Right. Yep.
It depletes minerals from your teeth.
Yep. It can actually carry the minerals away. So.
I mean, if you're gonna like die of like thirst, yeah, have a few swigs.
Yeah,
but I think you can drink the shit out of it. You just shouldn't do it all the time, right? I think it's
right. Yeah, not
for anything, right?
Yeah, not for like constant. Like hey, this is distilled water that because they sell those home distill, setups.
Yeah, what you should use distilled water in is your iron or your steamer.
Yeah, iron steamer in a for example a laser tube. Then when you're cooling it, anything that you're cooling, that it's going to be going through different metals,
right?
Stuff like that. So
Dasani, Drew's saying Dasani's reverse osmosis and tastes bad. I think Dasani tastes like shit, but I don't think it's a reverse osmosis problem. I think it's just a shitty water.
Yeah, I mean, and most of those bottled waters, you definitely got plastic leaching into the fucking water. Oh. I mean, you can taste it. And before anyone says water snob, hey, I grew up on drinking fucking hot
water, baby.
Hot water coming out of the hose.
Out of the hose, yeah.
Football. That water.
I actually kind of like that. That's totally nostalgic.
Oh, so the brown water.
It is. No, it wasn't really brown. It was
like the first like whatever water was back in my hose comes out. That's hot.
It was out of the hose like that, or out of a 50-foot PVC pipe that's sitting in the sun that has little squirt holes in it that everybody just goes up to it and drinks water. That's the kind of water drinking up.
That's right. And you really kind of do, because when you're hot and sweating when you're down south and as a kid or whatever, you do kind of want to let most of that warm water get out because it's got a funk to it. But there's good cold water coming after it. It's fine.
Afterward, yeah. For a second. Yep. Just takes a little bit.
I still think they changed Fiji water. So, or is it Fiji water or Fuji water? Fiji.
Yeah, Fiji.
Yo, that's what comes out of my tank, dog.
But I think a few years ago when that first came out, I tasted it, and that stuff was banging. Like, it tasted so good.
Yeah.
And then I think I got another bottle just like 3 or 4 years ago or something, and it tasted like regular water. I mean, it's not bad.
Wait a minute.
Anything special.
Were you smoking the first time you tried?
Maybe.
That was like a 25% serious question. It wouldn't surprise me if they cheapened their shit, to be honest.
That's it tasted so different. So I remember my description when I first tried it, many years ago when you first started on the market, and it was stupid expensive and whatever, right? I did try it, and I swore that it tasted wetter. It's a dumb thing to say, but that's the only way I could put it into words.
I know exactly what you mean.
And it doesn't do that anymore. Now it just tastes like water. It's not bad water, but
wetter water is what I consider like water I've had like out of a well and shit.
Yeah.
Good shit. Dude, cold water out of a well is like it's like a temperature you can't get from a fridge. Necessarily, I don't know. It's just nice. Now I'm thinking of that scene from the Goonies where they're in the restaurant. Yeah. They have the water poured like it's red. It's wet, isn't it?
Yes.
We serve tongue.
Hello, Mr. Key. Hello, Tootie. Hello, everybody. We got lots of people in here tonight.
Seriously. Hey, Rob Key. What's up? Oh.
Hey,
yeah.
Hey, Foo.
Yeah, I was about to go into that too. I was about to ask myself. Yeah, I'm vaping on the EK Fun, which Shane, I was talking about this earlier this afternoon about my K Fun. I left it home over the weekend. I didn't take it with me. I just took the Limo Nardo polishment with me over the weekend. This thing came back and it's been humid, and I think I mentioned this before, but those threads become stubborn on the juice flow. Kind of annoying. I guess I have to be a little gentler with it, but yeah. Finally got it open like an hour ago.
So could you just legit not unscrew the deck? Is that the problem?
Yeah, the tank would start to come unthreaded, but basically the way I realized that I hadn't done it was I tightened it down on the 510 a little better, a little more firmly with my rubber grip.
Mm-hmm.
And I held it in place in my fingers and I used a rubber grip to get the juice flow out. I don't know. This thing just might need a strip down and a cleaning.
Did I ever show you what comes in the Squape thing?
No.
So one of the bits that you get in the bottom of the Squape, with the spare parts kit, is one of these little monkeys, and you remember the old vape grips?
Dude, that's exactly what I use. I still have them. I still use them.
I've still got my vape grips too, and they're good. But this one is like that, but softer and stickier. Man, this thing's awesome. I think you can even buy them separate from the Squape store, which is cool. That's what made me think
that looks
about
very silicone-y.
Yeah. The old vape grips were like hard rubber. I mean, they
still get the job done for me. But yeah, those definitely look like they're worth a
little bit. Is that all you got going on? So today I have been since the last show I'm still vaping on the P hand. But on the that's part of the news. We'll talk about that later. On top of that is a Haku Vina and a Belkop, of course, with the funny little 24 millimeter thing. I don't understand. And then a mismatching top because who has any tips to match Ultim? So it's white and P. And I also have a billet box, but it's not the same billet box as before. It's a different billet box, which we'll talk about in just a minute. Inside of there, of course, is an exoset and abolishment, straight abolishment. No mixing this week. It's just been straight abolishment because I've missed it, and it's really tasty. That's all I got going on. Just those two. Matt, did you vape anything today?
Yes, I have. Whoa, you kind of like cut out there for a minute. I put Masty back in the Mulciber on the Matchbox Mini.
Nice.
very nice.
Very nice.
Delicious.
I've got this last week's been good for vape mail for me.
Oh yeah.
I've spent an irritating amount of money the last week or so.
Huh.
But one of which I can go ahead and talk about now, I guess. I said that I have a billet box, but it's not the billet box that I had previously been using, which is this lovely red one. So I think if you remember probably about a month ago when I had a billet box lifted from my hotel room, I did replace it because I saw somebody tag me, and whose name escapes me at the moment, I'm sorry, tagged me in the Hellfire group. Somebody was selling a billet box with an exoset in it, which is pretty awesome. Unfortunately, there's also an additional Boro tank and a Hellfire tip, and I've had to pay RRP for all of it. But the billet box was in great shape, and it was a Dober. And the Dober just wasn't really my thing. I didn't really want to... It's kind of like this brownie kind of light, darker tan kind of color, which wasn't really my bag. But Mr. Kyle Cena loves that color, and they didn't have that when he just bought a new billet box recently. But what he did buy was the color that I wanted, which is the RPG. Royal Purple Gray. So this is the color of my very first billet box.
Yep.
My billet box 3 was RPG, and it's going to be hard to tell the color because just like all the billet box colors, it is really they just don't photograph well at all. But what this thing is it's like a slate kind of gray, but it's got this purpley kind of tint to it, which is really, really cool. And I'm super pleased to have it. Also, this one's got that new... So one of the things I hated about the billet box 4 big screen version was they got rid of the cool engraving here, which was kind of a bummer. But the newer ones I've got on the button side, they've got a cool billet box Vapor USA 2018 thing on it, which is pretty slick. One of the things that I did purchase that's not here yet is I did get a new JMK button coming to kind of replace the convex one that I used to have. This one I got a concave one. I like the convex one, but the concave one I think might be cool for pocketability and make it even more difficult to fire this thing by accident. Davis says, looks sky blue on camera. Yeah, in person it's not. It's definitely like a dark.
I just said, it looks kind of metallic to me.
Yeah, all of the billet box anno colors, they're gorgeous, and they're really, really hard to see on camera. Even when you see a picture of them, you can't really appreciate how nice they look in person. They're super, super... I don't know what they do with their anno, but it's like no other anode that I've seen in the vaping market. It's all of their colors are they're deep. They look thick is what they look. They look like you got multiple layers of paint is what it looks like. Anyway, really, really slick. So I was happy now to have not only the Billet Box color that I want, thank you, Kyle, but also my exo sets back. So now I have 2 exo sets. Never going to get another one stolen again if I can help it. That's for sure. Even though it's kind of sad to lose my original BB4, which was on one of the very early ones when they
hate that.
It sucks.
I remember when I was working for Enjoy, actually, when we had to go out to Scottsdale for our our big meeting, one of my coworkers, one of the guys on the sales team, left his. It was a Hanamod DNA 40, pretty fresh one too. Like he just gotten it, and he had his K-Fun Light with the Mun cap, which at that point he wasn't making anymore. He just left it in his room. Realized 40 minutes later, we were still at the hotel. Actually, our shuttle was running late, and it was fucking gone. 40 minutes, hour, yeah, it was crazy.
Terrible.
Yep. To be honest, I thought the Mun cap vape shit on the K-Fun Light, but
really, I didn't think it was bad. I loved that thing. I thought it looked awesome.
The thing that I found was that the vacuum didn't quite feel the same. It was too tight when I was vaping on. I never had a Mun cap. I was a fan of just the nano and the scooped out.
Yeah.
The decap.
Festy's talking about the crossbow. That's an addy that I was not aware of until he mentioned it to me a while back. And he sent me some choice screenshots from that group. It's pretty funny. That it's it's an atomizer that was expensive, and then if I remember right, they made it even more expensive before they even showed the decks, and then there's been crazy delays. And then they finally showed the deck, and it's just the same boring old deck. There's nothing fancy going on at all. It's crazy expensive, and it's paying the
How expensive?
I don't remember. It was a lot.
$200 plus?
No, it wasn't that bad.
But for what you're not getting a whole hell of a lot for your money.
No, it's. I personally find the exo set to be really expensive. It's $110.
Yeah,
for a Billet Box Addy.
That's rough.
Yeah, you'd think it'd be a notice product, but apparently it's not. If I remember right, what came out after they hyped it a bit, then they came out, they're like, we're not ready to sell them yet. We're just doing a proof of concept and stuff. It was ridiculous.
Well, look at these. These aren't the final. This isn't the final form.
Yeah, this is not the final. Will says only Hellfire has the stone to ask 2 bills for the Billet Box Addy. I would argue that point, sir, because I would suggest that these people would have the stones to do that.
Yeah. Festy says it's 180 for that Addy.
Yeah, for a Billet Box Addy.
So
that whips like a K-Fun. It's like a K-Fun deck. That's terrible.
I'm going to take no thank you for 600.
Yeah, me too. And because I bought the vape shell and I bought the what was that other one that I bought? The Insider. After I'd already had the Exocet, so I tried these other ones and they're all right. I kind of want Kyle to come on for a minute to see if because he was talking about he was having a hard time with the vape shell. Because I sent mine up to him so he could check it out. And I sent I sent it up there.
Kyle has crucifixions.
Tell us in chat if there's crucifixions, and we'll talk about it.
I want to know. I had crucifixions last week. I mean, let's keep it rolling.
Yeah, well, ESG would ask 325. Yeah, that's probably right. Do we want to talk about the US news, or at least the blurb that we want to say?
You're gonna say it.
You want to say it? Is that what you said?
No, I said I shielded my face. I said you're going to say it.
Oh, okay, I'll say it. That's fine. So it looks like I think Gaslight may be out of stock, or at least effectively out of stock. There may be a couple rando sizes and or nick levels that are still available, but I don't think they're going to be coming back into stock for a little while. So we are sorry. It's something that we couldn't avoid, but we will be letting you guys know, obviously, as soon as we can to when we get those things back up and rolling. But we're trying.
So
I know you guys want
it. Meanwhile,
I want it to. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of abolishment or get pissed. I've got some, but I'm going to be dwindling to nothing myself. So, sorry. What are you going to do?
Happens.
It happens. Hopefully, it won't happen again after this.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Thank you, Dave, for tuning in. He's got to go do parent things because he is a parent.
Hell yeah. Family first, baby.
Yeah, Enduro is right. We told him to stock up.
Mm-hmm. And we tried to tell you the week before that, but you
YouTube done things. Do things.
Mm-hmm.
Look at YouTube.
All right. So that's
Damn it.
So, are we gonna wish Tato a happy birthday, or did we do that last week?
We did not do that last week. We can.
I think it happened Tuesday. I don't remember.
Something like that.
Happy birthday, Todd.
Happy birthday, Todd.
May the poles of life
You big
keep you
fan.
separated.
That was a song for you, right?
What?
Todd's happy birthday song.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, you big fanny.
There was that every year when my fake birthday comes up on Facebook, it comes up as like with the memory or whatever, right? It makes me laugh every time.
So apparently, a bunch of the guys over there over the pond met him and surprised him as he was walking out of his hotel during was it Vape Bash? No,
Fest.
Vape Fest.
Vape Fest.
Mm.
And they all had they all had shirts with his face on it when he walked out.
That was great.
Surprise, motherfucker.
That's definitely something that Todd really wants to see, right? Is his face plastered everywhere?
That's exactly what he said.
That doesn't surprise me at all. Todd has come out of his shell so much in the last couple of years. After we got him to finally come on the show,
We made him convention going material.
that's right.
Mhm.
But even so, he's still the same Todd. He's still very uncomfortable with his popularity.
Yep.
Which is adorable, of course. And then there's some other people that really love their famousness, and then they just kind of wallow in it and bask in it. And then there's other people like us that nobody even knows who they are anymore.
Yeah, we just fade into the ether, into
That's right.
existence. So apparently, there is a user by the name of Circus Mammoth on Reddit, especially on the ECR forum, and he has started a Shitpost Sunday series. And these series have been basically going through the history of ECR. Sub's been around for quite some time, and he is on his fourth posting. Fourth. First one was a history of ECR, history of ECR, the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's the name of it. And then there's week 2, week 3, and week 4. And on week 1, he's covering don't use lead instead of coil. Remember when they had the picture of the lead soldering?
The letter.
Yep.
Lead.
Yep. My dad peed in my juice.
Oh, right. I remember that.
Oh, that's classic.
18-year-old kid got caught with a mod in his room. His dad knew he had he had to show him a lesson. Not only did he take a hammer to it, he point blank stated that he pissed in his own son's juice. The kid, thinking he was joking, at first made the stark realization and put 2 and 2 together that he was actually, vaping piss. My mod was in my lap, and my dog jumped up in my lap, and she sat on it, and the drip did touch her butthole. Is it possible to sanitize or throw it away? That was
Burn
another.
it down.
That was another, history in the making. And then the last one was ECR has lost his collective mind, and it was a farewell rant by a user saying the community has decided the United States Postal Service is running a vape theft ring at that time. So that was week one. Week two was the covering of help cleaning juice in wife's car. Basically, he spilt juice, panics, takes it to a car wash, and his advice to get either upholstery replaced or has his, basically he takes 500 mils and he leaves the juice on one of the front seats. To his horror, he comes back and he finds both bottles have violently exploded and spewed orange flavored juice all over the car and the seat.
No.
He theorizes that it was the heat that made the lids pop up, but doesn't know how. Worse enough, his wife had only owned the car for 1 day, and the in-laws and the sod's law, he makes a mess that his wife wouldn't be too happy about it, blah, blah, blah. So he panics and all this stuff. So that was that one.
I didn't hear about that one. Jesus.
Then the follow-up with him trying to get the stain out. Then a new vaping concept, a vaping singles website. And that was when, basically they wanted to start a site for people who were single and vaping. And the last two were the Teapot RDA. It looked like a giant crack pipe. Remember that thing?
Yeah, I do.
Yep. And then, state of the community and all that other stuff, talking about the Illuminati and everything else. Week three covered, these are on ECR, and we can put the links to them. New mod in ECR that came in and bans Kyle Cena of Centerfold, and it was not an April Fool's joke. Basically pushing for the New Year's resolution, get it to the front page, and we got it to the front page of Reddit. Basically, hey, how to quit smoking, and that's about it on that one. And then this last week was the covering of pictures of Dr. Crimmy's liquid lab and a disgruntled employee. That was that debacle. If you remember, that was a fucking mess. Basically, pictures of Dr. Crimmy's lab came up, and it was in some kind of basement and had juice buckets open everywhere. So then also Kevin Lynch, a.k.a. Dr. Crimmy's, openly admits he fucked you over and doesn't care in these screenshots being Tristan Thompson's of convicted vapes. So those screenshots came out. Grand Rapids e-liquid, the next gross clean room scandal. That was a time there for a few months where it was like juice mixing room after juice mixing room that looked like a shithole. Mm-hmm. Who can't forget Sir Jorah doing the Secret Santa that basically never materialized, and he ran away with everybody's shit. Mm-hmm. And when Smog goes belly up, and if you pre-ordered a Cloudmaker through them, you should start figuring it out. And then concerns about the Cloudmaker itself. So, that was a mess. Basically, that one was only a portion of the Cloudmaker pre-orders were paid for, and then a refund was requested to cover the other expenses. So basically, your pre-order money was spent on other things and pissed away. That was a huge fucking mess.
It was.
So, yeah, and that kind of started the whole debacle with Cloudmaker. So there you go. It's a bit of a little history post. So it's going to be interesting to see what some of these can be coming up. I know some of the things he had coming up was going to be the Vapor Chefs. I'm going to run you over with my Jeep.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. How is it?
And the Vapor Chefs, breaking down and going bananas, and a bunch of other shit that has happened in the community.
Is he gonna do the Wiener thing?
Oh, I am sure. That's yes. He just needs to make sure he gets reliable information about that. So, but yeah, and some people might not have heard about this, but these were things that not necessarily because of Reddit happen, and they happen nasty online, and it ruined people's reputations. It put shops out of business. I mean, all of these things happen like that. You thought social media was fast. I mean, this shit. Some of this shit was happening, real time.
Yeah.
On a thread that was kept getting updated because some people and some companies, even though they were beloved, by Reddit and by the online community, which, to be honest, got these folks on the map. Some people couldn't handle that. So I like Drew's post. Listen, Linda. Listen, Linda. Linda, listen. Yeah.
That's like Drew. You're gonna get proposed.
Yep, and the Linda mess. Yeah. It's been and there's a whole bunch more stuff in there that he hasn't even touched on that has happened. I mean, this sub is dead now compared to the shit that happened there. What was it? Was it a mosquito or a fly? Fly in the juice.
I remember that.
Remember that? Mount Baker Vapors. You can walk into the back and make your own juice without anybody seeing you. Remember that shit?
Yeah.
Those were some. Those were the days.
Good times.
So, yeah. Anyway, now it's all just China bullshit. So there you go.
No drama, just China bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, and speaking of
$10 of 30 is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, speaking of, there's actually a post that's number 3 on the thread right now is absolutely furious. Got sent fake smoke coils from China. They last thrice as long as the original. So,
I'm sure.
Yeah, and the top comment is asbestos wicks well. So.
Oh shit! Battery Mooch in the house.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he's
Just
on the
off that
docket.
Windows.
He's on that docket too for this guy to write his story about of Mooch versus the shall be left unnamed company.
Are you gonna do it
overseas? Yeah, I'm trying to freaking.
I guess the dust off the windows. He has the dust off the windows button.
Man, you guys, no chill. You cannot cover. You're just like,
Mooch
are you gonna do it?
Business, man.
I'm excited.
Do it. Welcome, Mooch. I think he needs to give his Patreon some. I don't even know. Can you use a Windows 98 music? Probably Microsoft probably come after you anyways.
Yeah. Mooch come in a chat like.
Yeah.
He does the Simpsons walks in, puts a hat on, takes the hat off, puts it back on, walks back out.
Yeah.
And he has like a bag of like Sony VTC 5As. He just throws out to the crowd and he comes by on the float.
Yeah.
Also, if your name is
Scramble Peasant.
if your name is Kyle and you live in Oregon, or you ordered from Vaporham Lincoln, that's a great website. If so, this dude on Reddit's got your order, and he assumes that you got his. So hook up with him, Kyle. In
I
Oregon.
have got something that I would like to share. Tooney was just asking about the Limelight RAM board. And this is something that you may be interested in. No, that's what's in here. This was the alpha version of that board, and it's plugging along just great, even though it's a P-TUM or a P-hand rather, a P-hand version. Mine. And exciting news! My 3 free hands have arrived in Serbia. She pinged me. Was it this morning or yesterday morning? I think it was this morning that she pinged me and said that they received all 3 of mine, and they were going to be upgraded post haste, which I'm really excited about. But until then, that's what's in here. So this is a limited feature set of what the final version is going to have, because, like I said, this is like pre-alpha. It's not even a beta mod. This is one of the first boards, and I can share with you a couple of the features This was one of the early graphics, and it was the one that I could find quickly. So this wasn't a final version of it. And I'm going to try to zoom in so you can see it, because this is one of the things I told Dayan he needs to brighten it up, because you can't really see the text. But the short of it is this first one here is three click lock and unlock. So it's a you can just turn the mod off and you put it in your pocket. Now the upside of the freehand is the button is recessed and on top, so it's kind of hard to do that anyway. But it's nice that you can do that. It does have an 8-second cutoff, which is also nice. This is the big one though. So Dayan has figured out a way to let, and I don't have the original numbers in front of me, so don't hold me to these numbers, but it's something like a 0.001 volt drop across the board. It's something extremely low. So even though this is it's a MOSFET on the PCB itself, there's no drop off through it. And I can attest to that because I know that this thing fires down to crazy low voltages on the battery charge because I've done it. And I do it every time I run a full cycle through one of my batteries. It works great. So because of this, you can just continue firing and it's fine until all of a sudden you realize, hey, that's pretty low. And you throw on the charge and it's 3.5 volts or something crazy, which is unlike anything else. There is a low battery cutoff too, which is nice. So it won't let you over discharge batteries, which is nice. The auto standby is kind of interesting too. It does shut the board down if it hangs out for an amount of time. And I don't recall what that time is, but I do also know that it doesn't lock it. So after it puts itself to sleep, it doesn't do this. You don't have to 3-click unlock it again. It just puts the board on standby, which is nice. This thing's also huge. So apparently he's tested this thing down to crazy things. He's saying that it can fire under a 0.1 and safely do so. The components that he's got on this board will handle apparently quite a bit of abuse. The biggest thing about this is you have to treat this like a mech and protect your batteries, right? So you can build to your batteries and whatever. We do have short protection, which is nice. The instrument response is got to do with the low resistance that you can run on it, because you can run this thing down low and it does pop on fast. And he says it's waterproof here. I think this is a little bit of a phrasing issue to me. It's not really necessarily waterproof, but what it is effectively liquid proof. So the board itself is protected, and the switch, which is the problem that he had with some of the freehands that were out there, that I think he went through 2 different iterations of trying to find a really good switch. So the problem with this design, and I've got very few problems with it, but the position of the button, which is fantastically comfortable, is just because of where it's at, it is downhill, so to speak, from your atomizer. So if you overschwonk this thing and you've got liquid running down, you can get liquid underneath the metal plate of the switch. And previously that was totally fine because he was using the best switches he could find that were sealed. But these new ones that he's got apparently are the same series, or the same. It's not the exact same model, but it's in the same family, so to speak, as the ones that are on the Evolve board itself. So it's apparently rated to some crazy amount of cycles, like submerged. And he's done tests with it, like on a mill with a blunted end mill, and just sitting there, just running and just tap, 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 just pushing the button over and over again while it's doused in PG and while it's doused in VG. He's tried them both, and while it's doused in water, and it just supposedly just rolls, which is cool. So I hope that helps tune out. Remember who it was you said had a question about that. But yeah, that's hopefully that's some information for you that you can share. I am looking for, it does have a light. And normally it's you can't see it unless you look into the bottle and up while you're screwing the battery cap on. But since this one is a P hand, you can actually see it. I can show you what it looks like. Since this thing's clear, you can see it a little bit better. When you screw the battery on, that's it. So that's all you can see is it flashes a couple times when you first put a cell in, and I think it flashes when you lock it and unlock it. And if you ever short it, that's the other time that that it'll light up. Besides that, you'll never see the light because it doesn't turn on, except from those very few and, in my opinion, necessary times where you actually want a little bit of feedback from your mod. You can, so when you put a battery in, and then if you short it, basically. I don't even know if it does it when you lock and unlock. That's one of the features that this does not have on it yet because it's now. Otherwise, I'd be happy to tell you. Yeah, no, you're right, Shane. Nobody else does testing like that. You can say a lot of things about Limelight. One of the things you have to say is the dude tries his very best to make the best product he can, and he stands by his shit, which is cool. Yeah, you're welcome, Clem.
I just got hot out of nowhere.
What's that?
I just started feeling hot out of nowhere. Wow.
Oh yeah. Oh crap! It's already 10 o'clock for you guys. I think Massey hit me.
Yeah. Hey, can you still hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm gonna I want to show real quick the pictures of the SX.
Oh yeah,
mod.
definitely.
So let me pull this up. And so at ECC Canada, that just happened, I believe, this past weekend. Got some images from the new. I don't think it even has a name yet because it is not a complete, like fully set up, still prototype style. So here are. Oh, I'm not being. There we go. Here are the pictures of it on the right. It's big, dual battery, and
is that janky as hell for everybody else? Or just me.
Dang it! I guess I'm gonna need to refresh. No, it's janky as fuck right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Hang on, let me refresh.
That's fine. I didn't know if it was just me or not. Duro.
Is it still the same?
Yeah, it's still the same.
What in the shit?
What can you? Is it online somewhere that link it to me on side chat? I can pull it up and share.
Well, it's not that. Am I janky? I'm janky too. Hang on, let me close the browser and try it again.
No, you're back.
No, I know, but my face, it's like pixelated.
Oh, he's potato.
I'll be right back.
All right. Fucking YouTube.
Oh my god, stupid YouTube.
That's because you look fine to me. Do I look okay to you?
Yeah. You were just talking about the Titan Squonk in the chat.
Yeah, so for those asking, I mean, as of now, I know that the project has been on hiatus because Eric has been working on a board game. And I said in chat that Eric was actually, I think the game is final now. It's called Welcome to the Jungle. He was at Gen Con. He had a booth. He was exhibiting the game. So,
yeah, man, that's
right,
awesome.
So,
good for him.
So this is going to be a 200 watt auto squonking device. So
auto squonking.
Auto squonking, meaning it is going to automatically fill your Addy with juice, bottom fed. And there is a video of it working. It seems to work pretty good. And you can control how much, the level of how much juice comes in.
So do you push a button to make it auto squonk, or does it literally auto squonk?
As it's firing, it's putting juice in there.
What?
And you can control from 50 all the way down to 0 on how much its juice is putting in there. It has a 10 ml bottle, it does it all while while it's firing. Some of the things that people suggested, because they were doing live suggestions, was it's fucking huge, but dual battery and a squonk bottle and everything else that's in there. A lot of people were like, it's I'd rather push a bottle. These are just some of the things that were.
William summed up his reaction, which is exactly mine. This is solutions nobody asked for problems nobody has.
Yeah, well, apparently, a lot of people have. Well, so here was my thing. A lot of the Addies have shallow wells, but then again, this is probably going to be marketed to those 200 watt people vaping where it dries out in one hit.
Dude, look at that top cap. That 510 cap has got to be 26 millimeter. It's huge.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Maybe,
and again, it's you're doing 2 batteries and a 10 ml bottle right in the middle.
Why? Look, you see this shit?
Yeah.
It's like yeah.
Well,
why?
Yeah. So we'll see where they go with that. But apparently the price is going to be very, very attractive. It's called the Prototype X class, and next to it is a G class, which has 2 batteries in it. A lot of people were saying just big. So the next thing we're going to go to the polar
opposite. Can I just say on this one, I think this would actually be an interesting idea if it wasn't an auto squonking solution and rather there was an electric button you could hit. If there was some solution that would make that process work at least as good, if not better, than the
but why would you
siphon thing that we do?
Yeah, but why would you want another button to push when you can just have it do it at a certain percentage every time you vape?
Because it's never the certain percentage every time you vape. That's never.
I agree, but if you could have it pump 5% every time you're vaping, right? Wouldn't that do the same as vape squonk, vape squonk?
Except for I'm controlling it, right?
Well, you squonk the bottle, the juice, because this is another question that I had was, will it bring the juice back down, right? Because I like when I can squonk, fill that cotton full of juice and let the rest of the juice get sucked back down, so that way you don't have juice sloshing around in there, and it says yes, it brings the juice back down.
Sure. One would hope, right? I mean, that to me is an assumption. I assumed that was the case.
I hope it does.
Yeah, I hope it does. Otherwise,
bitch, I hope it fucking does, man.
It's everywhere.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
So I think my thing is it doesn't always it doesn't always need it, and B, I sometimes just want to take a drag, and I don't want because I'm about to put it back in my pocket or something, right? I don't want everything saturated in there, and what that would allow you to do is it would still have the functionality of what I'm talking about. Plus, you wouldn't have to have a bottle in, or rather, an opening in the case, right? You could have the whole case sealed up, and you just have a little button on the side or whatever to do your thing. I don't know.
That's true, and I'm sure that the like on the joystick, you can maybe they'll do like hold joystick up and then that squonks for you and then let it go. Right. I guarantee you that can be done. That's just software.
Let's drive in
that is
an automatic transmission, right?
Right. That's actually a good idea.
Yeah.
So it's completely sealed. The back will have right now it's all screwed together because they're just testing it, but the back will have a magnetic lid that'll come off where you can just get to the batteries and get to the bottle. It obviously goes through juice. But it's something for these people who are vaping at higher wattages that maybe they do need constant juice flow in there. So
and I think it's a good idea if it was a manual process like we're talking about, because especially because you need to still set that manual process to be that whole 5%. Right?
Someone just said this is how it runs. Push the joystick up to squonk. LabWorks. What runs this way?
The auto squonk.
I was in the videos and I was told it runs as you're vaping. As you're just hitting the vape button to vape.
So that's vacuum essentially. Right.
Well, it's probably keyed
up. No, you don't have to. No, it's keyed up to the button.
Oh. Right.
But
the Bluetooth connection to the coffee maker dropped. Reset the Wi-Fi. So there's that. Let's see. Oh, the Yeehee one, you can use a joystick. Oh, there you go. So I figured you could. I mean, it's software. So so maybe you can turn the auto squonk feature all the way off, which you can, because that's another thing I asked. You can turn it all the way down to 0, and then use the joystick. Thank you, LabWorks, for the info. The next one is this guy right here, and this is the my class pod, and it's got a little tiny screen down at the bottom, and it's got built-in pod there in the top. Yep. So they were.
Unfortunately, it does look a little thick and heavy. I mean, if he's doing what he'd do, then that thing's going to weigh like a pound, but it's going to be small, which is cool.
Yeah. So they were. I don't know exactly what size it's going to be, but I think it's like AA width, because the screen is really small. I mean, that's a tiny.
Yeah.
And so, they're looking for, they were looking for suggestions on that too, like, hey, what do you want to have in here? You want temp control? How much battery do you want to see in this? How low of coil resistance, all that stuff. So it's kind of neat that they're at least asking for input from folks. So, and they were at ECC doing this, basically showing the mods that they had, and showing them to people and asking for, hey, suggestions. What do you like about this? Because they are not completed products. They're not even already like done making them. This isn't going to come out till later in the year. And then here is I guess this is a rendering of what the different finishes on them are going to be. So there's that X class auto squonker. So there you go. So and actually there is I got a video URL. Let's see if I can download the video and see. Actually, the amount of juice that comes out is it is pretty slow. And yes, and you can use the I see them using the joystick there. One of the things that came up though is they were asking, a lot of people were asking, they were saying, hey, is this really going to be a good idea with all the board issues that you've had with juice leaking into, like the G class has that large screen. Yeah. And there are seals around it to keep from going on the board, and the board is got the, that conformal coating on it. But apparently they still had issues with a lot of juice getting in there and screwing things up. So they said that they have gone and redesigned all that. And I think that's why it's got the smaller screen. Not only that, but because of space. That's a curved area, on the front. So that big square screen is really not going to work. Auto Squonker sounds like a douche product. Yeah, there you go. Mm-hmm. That's me. Yeah, so William says, should we build a better board that's very small and very efficient so we can make a desirable shit? Nah, let's make this shit the size of microwaves that do shit no one wants. Innovation. And I asked about, hey, what are you doing making new mods after the deadline? And they're like, we don't speak English. So
they said, ¿qué?
They said, ¿qué? ¿Qué? No hablo español. What? Ni hao de español.
So we do have something related about that we could talk about briefly. If you're finished with that.
Yeah, I
am. So back a couple of months ago when we had Mr. Brandon from Evolve on, there was one thing that he showed us that we couldn't talk about. And a couple weeks afterwards, I got one, and I was able to run it through some tests, and I was told that it was still secret. and then I saw somebody ask a question about it, and Todd post a hand check of it, and then just on the Alpha forums, I saw that that these guys have released, some pictures of it as well as the user manual. So I think. It's now safe for me to talk about it, which is kind of exciting. So I'm going to zoom up and show you something kind of neat. Crazy little thing. So this is a reference mod that has a pretty special board inside. So this particular one is still is an example. There are other ones out there. The black one actually looks, in my opinion, a lot better than the silvery one. But this is the implementation from Lost Vape for a new Evolve board. And by new, I don't mean new. This is just a secret project that wasn't massively publicly available until just recently. And I actually hadn't even heard about it yet. But Lost Vape took this new board from Evolve called the DNA Go and made this little guy. It is a pod system. It's got a little release switch here on the side. One of the things that I like about this thing, not only is it the size of a lighter, which is kind of cool. The other thing is it's metal, which makes something that's really, really small feel substantial, not cheap in the hand. This particular one, from the way I understand it, I'll show you a little better picture. I mean, it's the size of a couple fingers, right? It's basically a pod system. It comes blank, so it's not you don't have to buy flavored or nick levels or whatever. You just buy the blank pods and you refill it. One of the things, besides I was telling you about the metal thing, the other thing is really nice, and even the pod's fill cap, metal. It just feels nice, I guess, which is kind of cool. And then of course, unlike all of the other Evolve things before this does not have a display. The only feedback that you get is a little light there. You can see it will pop. The neat thing about this thing and this DNA Go thing is it is e-scribable. So if you plug this thing into your computer via the micro USB thing on the bottom, obviously it's going to change depending on what model you have. But there's a little foldy-outy metal thing here on the bottom where you can get the USB plug into it to recharge it. It's obviously got an internal LiPo. But you also can hook it up to eScribe. You can do the whole, the atomizer thing and, the whole nine. Customize your wattage things. I think it's got the little multi-use button here. You can cycle through, I think, like 5 different power settings. So you can go from whatever to whatever. But the short version, the actual implementation thing is this is the Lost Vape Orion. But that one's not terribly necessarily the point. The point is the DNA Go is being sold by Evolve. So other people can buy it and put it into other things. And they're meant to be low power, high NIC systems because it's obviously not going to support a whole lot of power. But it does have replay, which is super, super cool. So all of the coils that we've been testing, almost all of them, have been made out of stainless or the knife, the NIFE, and other sort of temperature limiting wires. And you basically vape it with you set the wattage thing you want, vape it, and then you hold down this little guy, puts it into replay mode. You never have to worry about it again. So again, one of the things that I think is the coolest about replay is the fact that when you put replay into something like this, one of the things that's a problem with pod systems is when they burn out, it kind of sucks, right? But if it's got replay on it, don't have to worry about it so much. And I can vouch that this thing actually does work pretty well as far as the Evolve board goes, but unfortunately, the several rounds of testing that we were able to go through this thing is, I can say that most of the pods that I've had, that again were pre-release pods, were not wicking terribly well. The actual wick itself inside of here just wasn't pulling in quite enough e-liquid, and I'd have to tighten or have to loosen the fill cap and give it a couple blank pulls, and then put it back down. When it was doing that, it worked great. And I did have a couple pods that did work fine. But some of them didn't. I felt like I should tell you about that. But again, these were alpha versions of a product that hasn't been released yet. So I would take that with a grain of salt, right? I assume they've got a lot of that sort of thing kind of weeded out. That's what I'm trying to say. They got a lot of stuff weeded out at that point, one would assume. This particular one has got an airflow adjustment around the mouthpiece. Some of the pods that I got had a bunch of little holes, and the smallest one really was a properly tight mouth to lung. I mean, we're talking like sub-millimeter, like Dong Magnum style solid mouth to lung. The rest of them were a little more coarse, and I'd have to shut most of it down to get it a good mouth to lung. LabWorks is right. It's around. It's just short of $60, I think, depending on where you get it. So I think the Evolve board itself in here is really super cool. I am looking forward to getting some pods that are they're wicked a little bit more loosely so that enough e-liquid could get in. This last round, I actually did get a 50-50 juice that helped that problem. Unfortunately, most of the shit that I vape is not 50-50, right? I mean, Railcar is like 83-17 or something, right? It's massive. It might be 90-10. I don't know what the hell it is. All I know is it's thick as shit, which is great. But I just saw your comment in chat. Labworks Bob Barker this morning or this evening. So I do look forward to this thing. I do know there's a couple different form factors of the Evolve board as well. This one in particular is shaped like this, but they've got some other ones that are. I don't think I'm supposed to say this, or I don't think I'm supposed to say too much details, but we'll just say that they have different shapes of the same board. So it does the exact same thing, same components and whatever, but it would adapt to different shaped mods. So, in my opinion, pretty cheap considering as nice as the kit is for this particular mod. Pretty freaking nice. I am gonna need to go find some better pods, some retail pods, so not pre-release pods, to see if they indeed are a little more consistent than this. But like I said, these damn things. I mean, everything's metal. It feels nice for a pod system. Most pod systems feel like shit, right? Plasticky and light and kind of feel shitty. This is not one of those. And while it's not heavy at all, it still feels nice, and it works. Nice with that. Whoa, that was low power. Is this thing dead? Oh yeah. Sorry, it's dead. I was like, that didn't work too good. That's why. That's why. Anyway, so I'm really excited to tell you about that. I hope that helps a little bit. Do look for freaking Evolve Go powered low powered thingies. Somebody was asking about power. I don't recall offhand. It's something like 10 to 20 watts or something like that. It's definitely like pods size things, but you can change that around. I'm not sure if you can bump it. I don't know how high you can bump it up, but for something like that, you wouldn't want to bump it up too high anyway. It's going to tax the battery out. The whole point of this thing is low power, high nic, right? It's a pod. When it's vaping well, Ed, I think so. And the reason I say that is because I like the fact that you can actually do a restricted lung, or you can dial it down to be a mouth lung, which is really nice. And you can freaking put your own juice in it, right? It's a pain in the ass to do that on a Juul.
Yeah,
you can do it.
That's nice.
Yeah. You cannot rebuild them, but you could definitely, I mean, they come blank, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I completely agree. Well, I still haven't found a pod system that I love. I did think that the fit worked really good, but you couldn't refill the pods, right? The pods were fixed, and I didn't really like them that much, to be perfectly frank. The Juul's nice, right? It's a similar price point, but the pods, while refillable, are a pain in the ass to refill, and it's stained with the other juice flavor you start with. But definitely nice, and it's nice that they're available around, right? How to say this properly? As much as I liked the Juul, and I did like the Juul over most everything else, as far as like the non-flavored side stuff, right? The form factor is nice. The little tappy thing was nice. The recharger thing, the little magnet thing was cool. But I didn't like how it seemed like a lot of people like freaked out about the Juul, like, and became like addicted specifically to the Juul. That weirded me out a little bit. I don't know. I've got one. I've got two, and I've used them before, and sometimes occasionally, regularly, but that always kind of puts me off. Like, as soon as I start thinking about that, I don't know what it is. There's nothing scientific about that yet. I have not talked about Skyfall yet. I was trying to get through that while Masty was here. I'll talk about the Skyfall when it leaves.
Oh, word.
Here's the can I link that here? I was going to link the Skyfall's user manual. No, it's linked somewhere that's not public. You can probably find it. Just Google around for Orion DNA Go user manual. I'm sure it'll come up. So, Will said, spoiler, it's good. It's okay. There's a lot to like about the Skyfall. And I'm trying my damnedest to reserve judgment until I get some of my equipment back so I can do a proper A and B testing on it. Because right now, for whatever reason, it doesn't work very well on the mod that I've got. And I have some hypothesize why that's the case. But I haven't had a problem with this particular, again, alpha unit of the mod. I haven't had the problem with anything else except for the Skyfall. And for whatever reason, it's just, I would find it's not vaping very well, and then I pull my battery out, and it's like 3.8 volts, 3.8, which is weird, right? Because this thing vapes everything else down to like 3.5. I mean, 3.8 is barely, halfway, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cycle. So anyway, Maz, do you need to go?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not kicking you out. I'm just asking. I didn't want you to stay too late because you didn't notice the time.
I see. I see
how it is.
Somebody just sent me a picture of Steven Seagal sitting in front of Putin. What? Why am I going to put that up? Apparently he was appointed.
Yeah, he was at some big event.
The shit that I get, from some people. Steven Seagal appointed by Russia as a special envoy to the U.S. Yeah, okay. I care less. I'm sure he's also being appointed sheriff of Pound Town too. So.
Oh, Will. Specifically, Will, it's this particular alpha version thing. So don't freak out or anything, because I know full well that that Ace has been using the shit out of his Skyfall on his freehands, and it works perfectly. He actually really, really, really likes Atomizer. So no worries. I'm fully perfect, or I'm positive that it's the alpha mod, and it's just something funny with those two things. So unless you have an alpha freehand and a Skyfall, everybody else in public, you're fine. Well, should I talk about that? Oh, I can talk about one thing. That's not hashtag no, you can't have one. Look at this little. Do you see this little stack here? Oh, you might not be able to see the stack here. We'll see. So I'll show you this. So this came in the mail, plus one more. This is extremely well packaged juice.
Was that Rail Cracker?
It's Rail Cracker. So
that bubble wrapping looked very familiar.
Yeah, I did put in my retail order for some Rail Cracker 120s. These things are like just, and this came in a bubble.
That's what they're glass. They
No,
don't even do that much with the plastic.
Yeah, they're plastic. And it came in a bubble mailer too, the USPS Priority Mail bubble mailer. So it was these inside a bubble mailer.
That's wasteful, California.
Yeah, ban straws, but you can ship juice like this.
No, the glass is understandable because they wrap it, they wrap the glass like that and they put it in the bubble mailer, and I've never had a bottle break on me ordering them. But plastic? We're not talking about games here. We're talking about plastic. Plastic doesn't make my team better.
Yeah. Well, the upside is damn well that your juice is going to get to you safe and sound from derailment.co. So I do think so this was the first time that I had tried the retail version of Rail Cracker. It is it's great off the finger. I haven't done a full send yet and rebuilt an Addy and done it totally clean, but I have drifted over existing Rail Cracker after I vaped it a little bit dry, and it was fine. It tastes really good. It is ever so slightly subtly different for those of us who have vaped liters of the other, but it is really very good. I'm pretty happy with how they were able to make that come out.
Yeah, I was just like, yeah, I'm fucking all right already. I was like waiting for so long. I was waiting. I was like every couple weeks, like, hey Jay,
Yeah.
Okay. So finally happy that it's out. Very, very happy it's finally out and everyone else can enjoy it and such. So I'm glad that we've had various posts in our group of people enjoying it, so that made me very
For sure.
happy.
Oh, Fappin said that he got 5 120s in a post office box, and it just had styrofoam. Really? That's surprising that they changed the wrapping format up, because I just got this a couple days ago.
5 may be a little tight in that.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't think so. I feel like I feel like there was extra room in there.
Yeah, I ordered 3 glass 120s, and there was like extra space. So I'd like when I do my giant Valentine orders.
Interesting.
Rob says I froze with the most hilarious face ever. Awesome. I hope someone screen capped it. Fuck. I don't know if it's gonna come out on the VOD tomorrow. Oh, come on. Tell me someone in chat got that. A rare fucking... I probably look even crazier because I'm sleepy and shit.
Oh, Fab was talking about a different juice. I thought he was talking about real rare. My bad. Yeah, no, the other juices that I get in plastic bottles come not as massively.
They may just have a universal packing standard, but yeah.
Yeah.
We can grab the frame out 3. Let's hope it made it to the made the cut. But you don't get points if you get it off the VOD. That's the thing. No brownie points.
Got to get quick on that the screenshot.
Quick screen. Yeah. Dude, I can no look that shit at this point in life.
I do have one more thing to talk about. Did you have anything you'd like to share before I go? That I know I've been talking for a little bit.
Not really. It's been pretty dead week vape-wise.
Yeah.
I said I couldn't take my K-Fun with me. That's about it. I think would just honestly, if I was drinking, it'd probably for the better.
Right.
Fu, when is your bride showing up from the motherland? I don't know, man. I'm wondering. Do you know?
Did you order one?
No, they don't do. I mean, that's a different part. Those are other parts of the world that could do that.
Boy. So the ESG Skyfall, I do have it on my notes to talk about because it is an interesting atomizer, and I think it is a good atomizer, and I do know that it's extremely well made. But for some reason, it's vaping strangely, and I have to admit that I did not rebuild it this weekend like I probably should have. I just threw a normal slapped in a parallel build in here, and I haven't done a whole lot of tweaking and touching and messing with it yet because I'd like to get it on the same mod. Because the only thing that I have is this thing and this thing. And obviously we've got unregulated and regulated, and it's already acting funny on the unregulated. I don't know. It's got different builds in it. Like, everything's different, and it doesn't feel like I'm giving it a proper go yet. So I do think it's a really nice atomizer. I'm not terribly worried about the timing of this review because I don't think very many people have them yet. So I feel like I would feel more comfortable like hanging back and talking about it. I do want to say that it's extraordinarily well made, and the milling on it and the details inside are very, very cool. The top cap is polished too. I mean, it is so clear. It's like if you took like a Mundell cap and spent a lot of time on it, and you know that just perfect clarity that you can get on it. That's what it looks like out of the box. It's absolutely gorgeous. And the other thing about it is the airflow is extraordinarily smooth. It's so smooth. So I do have some positive things to say about it, except for the performance, which seems to be a little cool. It's not as hot as I would think it should be, and it didn't seem like it's working on my butt. So I kind of want to give it a bit of a pass until I can get some better testing on it. But I am excited that my free hands have arrived in Serbia and hopefully be home soon because I miss them. I'm tired of
I bet you do.
Yeah, Will said there's not enough superfluous adjectives for it, and I agree about the
superfluous adjectives. I like that.
Superfluous superlatives. That's what I was trying to say. It's superfluous superlative adjectives. Yes,
audacious.
It's extremely smooth.
Smooth. It's not smooth. Smooth.
Move with a V. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Whenever I pull nice maneuvers on the road, like going kind of fast, and then I kind of wedge into an exit lane that has a little bit of traffic. And you ever like skip the line?
Mm-hmm.
I can do that.
With no bumps.
I go look at whoever the co-pilot has a look. I'm just like smooth.
Yeah.
I absolutely did that yesterday on my way home.
Whoa, Shane, you're freaking left Serbia, man. I just got there. What the hell?
So I saw Shane on the way out. I was like, "Hey, man."
Yeah, maybe they high-fived as they passed each other in the night. I'm just glad they got there. They were hung up in customs for like a week and a half or something or more. They've been there for a minute. Sad story. I'm not being pedantic, Will. I was adding to your descriptor, which was very good. I think the last thing I want to talk about is I got if you do end up with a Skyfall, I did get the bell cap for it, and as much as I love Christian and bell vapes in general, this is one of the few times that I've gotten a bell cap, and I don't think the Addy is better looking with it. It's got these like double lines on it, kind of like the old hobo, and that's okay, I guess. But when you cut the lines in this particular material, you can't polish inside of it.
Yeah, I actually think it would look probably schmexy if it had like this kind of style finish on top.
That's what I wanted.
Because it makes it look like extra crystal-y and shit.
Yeah. I totally wanted that because the deck is so good looking on that thing. It would look sweet. But I came with that other thing, and I appreciate the guys. I know they're trying to put their own spin and stuff on different shapes and the way things look, and that's cool. It doesn't always appeal to everybody, and this particular one for me wasn't my favorite. But that's it's one of those things. Taste. It's just a personal preference thing.
All right. It's about that time of the night.
I think so.
Man's very hot. It's gotten very hot in my basement tonight for some reason.
You do have a collar on at home, which is impressive. Very attractive.
So yeah, I think this is the part where we cut it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go take a fucking shower this time.
Do it.
I'll eat something first, but yeah. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Been lovely. And the Mats couldn't finish this one out with us. He's gotta be up very early tomorrow, as do I. So yeah. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you next week. And yeah. Any parting words, Angsty?
No. Deuces. Peace.
Wu Kong Tang. Thank you. Wu Kong is a League of Legends character. I don't like League. Wu Tang.